What's going on, world? I know it's been a little bit since I've made a video, but I've definitely been playing games in the meantime, so I'm here to talk about a few games that have had me in a headlock for the past month or two, games that I have not been able to put down. Please feel free to let me know what you've been playing in the comments, but let's get right into the video. So I've gotten re-addicted to Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and it has been great. I think I'm close to like 100 hours in this game, and when I tell you, I think I've only spent like 20 hours doing actually important stuff. I don't know what it is about this game, but I just get lost for hours at a time, just running around, exploring, getting in all kinds of trouble, and just having fun. It's crazy because I didn't love Breath of the Wild as much as everybody else did, but there's something about Tears of the Kingdom that is really clicking for me. This is almost like a comfort game, man. I can just cut this on and just spend hours just doing side quests and exploring. One of the things I did the last time I played is I did the side mission of rebuilding Lurelin Village. So, you know, I'm the man around there now. I can go to Lurelin Village. I get to sleep for free, get to eat for free. So that's pretty nice. Eventually, though, you know, I did start doing some main missions again. I was out in Goron City, you know, doing some stuff. Did a boss fight out there. I'm currently running around in Gerudo. I'm getting slapped up out there, but you know, that's another story for another day. But you know, I'm getting my little spirit helpers, and it's going pretty good, man. I've been making a real effort to go into the depths, and man, there's so much to do in the depths. It's so much I haven't touched down there yet, but it's that aspect of the game just really works for me. There's so, in any other game I feel like I would be overwhelmed, but for some reason in Tears of the Kingdom I find so much joy in just doing all of the little side tasks, and the world is fun to explore, and you got the depths, you got, you know, Hyrule in the regular area, and then you got the stuff going on in the sky, and that's a whole nother battle up there. But I like that, you know, you're rewarded for your curiosity, man. I run around and I'm finding new armors. I reach one of the sky, I don't remember what it's called, the thing that's up there. I forgot what it's called. It's like a sky maze puzzle thing. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about, but I did one of those. And the building mechanic, man, the building mechanic in this game lets me express myself in a way that no other Zelda does. Now, I'm terrible at building things in this game. I'm completely awful at it, but boy, is it fun. It's fun to just try and be an imaginative person, and you know, just build these little bootleg contraptions that will help me fight, travel, and do whatever I need them to do. And it's especially fun to do that when you're solving shrines, because you feel like a genius once you've built something to like help you get across a shrine. It's such a great feeling. But Tears of the Kingdom, man, this game is it's great. It's amazing. The headlock has been real. I'm just in love with this game. Can't put it down. Even after I finish it, I'll definitely be back playing this some more, because I really just can't get enough of playing this. I'm pretty sure most of you played it. Hopefully you feel the same way. If not, that's cool. But for me and Tears of the Kingdom, we're gonna be best friends for a while. But yeah, this has probably been like the #1 game that has had me in a headlock. The next game I want to talk about that has had me in a headlock is this really dope 2D action Metroidvania called Biomorph. Now, shout outs to Lucid Dream Studio, who actually blessed me with a code so that I could play this on my Twitch channel. But man, bro, this game hits all of the check boxes for me. Metroidvanias in the indie space is a pretty crowded genre, so you definitely have to do things to stand out if you're gonna make a Metroidvania in today's day and age. But this game does enough to make itself stand out. The main mechanic that makes it a lot different from any other Metroidvania is that you can morph into all of the enemies, with the exception of bosses, but you can morph into all of the enemies that you kill. Now, I'm only probably about 5 or 6 hours into this so far, but I've already run into a really, you know, good amount of enemies in terms of variety. So I've been morphing into all kinds of different creatures, and sometimes you'll need to morph into specific creatures to solve certain puzzles, to be able to traverse and get to certain areas. And of course, you know, if you gotta fight, gotta throw the hands. And just with the variety, like, all of the creatures feel different, they look different, they all have their own little unique moves and specialties that you can take advantage of. And the upgrades in Biomorph are also really dope, man. You'll be collecting these chips, which, you know, give you new attacks. So I just got me a cool chip that basically gave me a grenade launcher. So I've been running around just being a menace, just causing all kinds of trouble. But you also get what are called mementos, and these give you like passive upgrades. So for example, there's a memento called Spirit Silver where if you have it equipped and an enemy is close by when they hit you, you'll automatically inflict a small bit of damage back to them. So they got a lot of passive abilities like that. And also the world in Biomorph has just been really fun to explore. Like all of the environments feel different, they look different. They all have their own secrets and things to find in them. And most importantly, like exploring helps fill in the gaps of the story. When you wake up at the beginning of Biomorph, you're playing this character named Harlow, and he doesn't remember why he's where he is or how he got there or what happened to him. And kind of through exploration, you find these memory fragments, and then he kind of slowly starts piecing together the truth about what his purpose is, and kind of like what's going on in this world. And gotta give kudos to the devs. I am a directionally challenged person, so thank God this map is very easy to read. You can clearly see where objectives are. You can clearly tell where you always have an idea of where you haven't been and where you're supposed to be going. I've never in the time I've played this, I've never really truly felt lost because I can clearly pinpoint where I have not been yet. So I always have a sense of what I'm supposed to be doing. I might actually do a full-length review on this when I finish it, because there's so much more I would love to go into detail, but it's not a full-length review, so I'm not gonna do that. But I can say, if you enjoy Metroidvanias and you want one that's a little different from the other ones you've probably played, I'm gonna definitely recommend Biomorph to you. It has had me in a headlock, might put you in one too. I told myself this year that I would dedicate myself to fighting games more, and I thought the game that I was going to put that time into was Tekken 8. Don't get me wrong, I did play Tekken 8, but the game that is actually kind of taken over in terms of fighting games has been Guilty Gear Strive. Now, I haven't played every Guilty Gear game, but generally I've been a fan of this franchise since like the early 2000s. Me and Soul Bad Guy, man, we go way back, man. We got a history. We've been cool for a minute now. The wild thing is, like, when Strive first came out, I played it for a little bit and then I kind of fell off. You get distracted, you end up playing other stuff. But within like the last month or two, this has been my go-to fighting game. And now that I've come back to play this after not playing it for a while, I've realized they've added so many DLC characters. So I'm going online fighting these people that I've never seen before, and I'm catching hands. It's been rough out there for me a little bit, but Soul Bad Guy, always going to be my number one in this game, one of my favorite fighting game characters. But I've been trying to figure out, just new people I want to throw in the rotation. And I've kind of settled on Eno, man. Me and Eno have been in the lab. We've been getting it in. I'm trying to figure out some combos, trying to figure out some moves, Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not the greatest at this game. Like, you're not going to see me at Evo no time soon. But I have noticed that I'm getting better. And that's the fun part of the journey. That's what I love about fighting games, is just being able to figure out move sets and figure out combos. So me and Eno, like I said, we've been in the lab, me and that guitar, we out here, we putting the work in, man. And I really like that Eno is like kind of unconventional. Like, some of her moves are kind of awkward, but she's also really versatile because she has moves for pretty much nearly every range. So she's got stuff for being up close, she's got mid-range, she's got pretty much everything, and her inputs aren't really that difficult to pull off. So for me, it's just been more about figuring out the best ways to kind of mix up her moves together and when to use certain moves in terms of distance. But it feels like I'm having just a fun science experiment, just kind of messing around and kind of figuring out, the best way to use her. But in general, man, if you haven't played Guilty Gear Strive, the roster is really dope. They have all kinds of characters that I feel like accommodate all skill levels. So I mentioned Soul Bad Guy earlier. He's probably one of the easiest characters to use in the game. But they also got people that are a little more complicated. People like Zato, Happy Chaos is running around with the blicky. You got Faust, who's out here just throwing Acme explosives at people. I'm not a big fan, but I respect his innovation. But he's annoying. He's so annoying to fight. But I respect the moveset. And then this guy Slayer, man, I've got beef with him because he's one of these new people who I didn't see since the last time I played this. So he has been putting me through the blender when I fight him online. But I'm getting better though. I'm getting better. But yeah, no, he's been a problem to deal with. But yeah, man, Guilty Gear Strive has been my go-to fighting game for the last month or so. So I love it, man. I love it. Shout outs to this 2D, 3D style. That's beautiful. I wish. I'm not gonna go on a rant. I wish Street Fighter looked like this. I know the 3D look. Everybody wants the 3D look. I love my 2D looking fighters. I love that look. So I love Guilty Gear Strive. Having a blast playing this. We fixing getting these combos together. Me and Eno, we out here. Come see me. Don't come see me. You might beat me up. But no, Guilty Gear Strive. Game is fire. You should play it if you have. Now I don't revisit games often, but I had a chance the other day because I was kind of out and about and I had my Switch on me and I needed, something to play while I was just kind of sitting in a waiting room. So I fired up Katana Zero and boy, did I forget how much I love this game. This is really, from my specific taste, Katana Zero is like a 10 out of 10, man. This is, man, I forgot how good this was. If you've never played it, it's definitely challenging. It's one of those games where you just need to accept off bat that you are going to die a lot. But they're going to give you all the tools you need to get the job done. It's just about execution. Gameplay wise, you'll be hacking and slashing, running through these rooms, taking out every person you see. But you also do die in one hit. So you got to learn to just be precise with your movements, kind of anticipate what's going to happen, and just being able to read and react and not end up dead. But like I said, they're going to give you all the tools you need. You get a sword, that you can get busy with, but you also got items that you can throw at enemies. You got environmental hazards that you can set off, and you can deflect bullets also. But most importantly, you can manipulate time by slowing things down, and you can use this to kind of help you get out the way, help you anticipate what's going to happen. And you can just use it to make sure you land a hit before they do. However you see fit, use it however you need to. As long as you don't get hit, you'll be fine. But everything about this game just hits, man. It's so fast paced. It's like a nice just shot of adrenaline every time you play it. Controls are tight and responsive as they should be in a game like this that really does demand precision. And they find ways to switch things up so that stages don't get so repetitive. So sometimes you'll have stages where you need to be stealthy. They've got stages where you can ride vehicles. The environments won't always, be the same. You got boss fights, which are always a fun time, even though they can be challenging. Speaking of boss fights, when I replayed this, I went back to do the secret boss fight for the first time. Quick spoiler alert, if you don't want to see this, just check the timestamps. I'm going to mention a quick spoiler real quick. So I'm going to give you 3 seconds to leave. 1, 2, 3. All right, so for everybody else, hey, bro, this fight was crazy. This psychiatrist fight was insane in the best way possible. But yeah, no, this was so worth it. I had to look up a guide to figure out how to trigger this fight, and it was 1000% worth it. But Jesus Christ, this fight was crazy. But nah, man, Katana Zero is amazing, man. From the action to this kind of like neo-noir dystopian world filled with all of these wacky characters. I love the dialogue in this game. It has a lot of personality to it, and the story is just bonkers. There's so much to love here, and this was just as fun on the replay as it was since it was the first time I played it. Now hopefully we do get some news on the DLC that I know a lot of us have been waiting for. I did see earlier this year that one of the 2D artists who works on this game, his name is Dave Zhang, posted a very brief sample of like a level layout that he was working on for the DLC. I believe he posted this in like January. If I remember, I'll put a screenshot of it, of the Twitter post. So we at least know that the DLC is being worked on. Just might be a while before we get it. But Katana Zero, man, this was so fun to revisit. I had a blast replaying this game. If you just need that fast action in your life, some really dope pixel art, go check this out. If you've never played Katana Zero before, you are doing yourself a disservice. Go pick this game up. This is one of the best indies that you're probably gonna play. So yeah, Katana Zero, 10 out of 10, bro. Love this game. Absolutely love this game. Moving on, man. Let's talk about Rise of the Ronin now. Generally, I've enjoyed mostly pretty much everything I've played from Team Ninja. So at bare minimum, I was sure I would have a decent time with this game. But since I've been playing it, it's been more than just a decent time. Like when that PS5 gets cut on, there's about a 90% chance that this is the game that I'm playing. Now, I'm not gonna go super deep into the story, mostly because I'm honestly not that far into it. But Rise of the Ronin does take place in Japan during the Edo period. And in the beginning, your family gets slaughtered, and you're trying to get revenge and overthrow the shogunate regime. It gets more complicated than that, but this ain't a full review, so I'm not going to dive into all the other intricacies and things that are going on, but that's kind of the gist of what's happening. But Rise of the Ronin for me has been similar to Tears of the Kingdom in the fact that I've sunk a pretty decent amount of hours into this, but boy have I not done much of the main story. I've just been having a blast just running around, doing side missions, getting into fights, opening up the map, and then just seeing what the world has to offer. Now, first I gotta mention, of course, combat in this game, chef's kiss. If you've ever played Neo, which was also made by Team Ninja, you'll feel right at home with Rise of the Ronin. The fighting is very fast paced. You get a nice, different assortment of weapons, katanas, odachis, great swords, spears, and even within those weapons, these weapons have different stances, which kind of further opens up the combat to give you more variety. So you just have a ton of different options on how to cut people up and how to approach fights, and it's just it's fun to figure out kind of which stance and which weapon works best depending on who it is that you're fighting. And I would also got to mention you got side weapons, so you got like a bow, a shuriken, a fire pipe, which is basically a flamethrower. Forget a sword, forget honor. I'm about to just burn you to death. And I don't know, it's just the combat can be fun and chaotic in the best way possible. And they've also got these really cool little critical moves that you can land. So if you deplete an enemy's key bar and kind of break their stance, I believe if you hold triangle, you can do this nice little finishing move. And then you also have the counter spark, which you can use to deflect attacks. And believe me, you're gonna want to get good at this because some of these enemies are kind of ruthless, especially these bosses. So you're gonna need to learn that counter spark pretty good, man. It's gonna come in handy. Outside of fighting, which is A1, my favorite part of Rise of the Ronin really has just been, like I said, exploring, interacting with the world, mingling with the folks, and there's always something to get into in this game. You can chase cats, you can take pictures of certain locations. They got horse riding training, gun training, random side quests. I did one where I had to help some guy take revenge on some dude who I think killed his pops. Now, when we got to the fight, I let him do most of the work because this is his revenge, not mine. I'm just here. But there's never a shortage of things to just do in this world and just get involved in. Circling back to the story, I've hit the part of the game where like the relationships you have with certain characters really start to matter, and that's been interesting. So, like I said, I haven't gotten super deep into this, so I can't go super in depth, but I can tell like the choices that you make when it comes to interacting with certain characters is going to start having an effect on how like certain events play out. And this is opening the door for me to be a menace. So we'll see how that goes. I'll see if I can try to be a good citizen or if I'm just going to start backstabbing folks. Not going to lie, I did kill a guy early in the game who I probably should have let live. Because I was told after I killed him that he probably would have gave me a useful item later on. But too late. He is in the upper room now. So it kind of is what it is. But nah, man, I'm loving Rise of the Ronin, bro. This game is a lot of fun. And it's crazy because it doesn't really reinvent the wheel on anything. It doesn't feel like anything I haven't played before. But I just feel like what it does really well. And most importantly, it's just fun to play. And at bare minimum, I just need games to be fun. And it 1000% has done that for me. And for that reason, this has probably been like my most played PS5 game so far. So shout outs to Rise of the Ronin. The headlock continues, but I'm loving it. Soulstice has taken me back to that PS2 / like PS3 era of hack and slash games. Now, unfortunately, it did bring along some of the flaws from those games, mainly the camera, which is your enemy at all times. But it made me realize how much I miss these kinds of games. In Soulstice, you play as two Chimera sisters named Briar and Lute, and we need to close a tear that is causing these beings called wraiths to come in and basically just wreak havoc on the city. And throughout the journey, you'll get to see how Briar and Lute, kind of came to be who they are and see how their upbringing was. And it pulls together their relationship pretty well. And you get to see this organization that you work for called the Order of the Ashen Blade. And you kind of get to see what's going on with them because they've got some interesting things going on in the background. We'll just say that. Now, I think I'm on about chapter 15 of Soulstice. I will say for one negative, I think this game is running just a bit too long. But with that said, the hack and slash fix that it's given me, I'm absolutely loving. This game definitely feels very Bayonetta-ish, very Devil May Cry-ish, Heavenly Sword kind of, things like that. But It does what it does well, though. You get a nice selection of weapons, you know, swords, whips, gauntlets, bows. Combos are pretty, you know, easy to pull off, and as you continue to upgrade your characters, you start to get more variety. And I really like how they use Loot in this game. Loot is the younger sister, and it may look like that she's just kind of floating around, just sitting there, but she actually does a good job of providing defense while you're out there, you know, busy throwing hands and being on the offensive. But you just got to keep an eye on the little inputs that you have to press for her to make sure that, you know, she's slowing enemies down from hitting you, and, you know, just keeping you protected while you're out there doing your thing. And they also have this cool synergy system between them, so when you get their synergy up, they can pull off these really dope special attacks. And I love the cutscenes that you get when you activate these moves. And I also love that Soulstice is a linear game in a day and age where everybody wants to make their game open world. I appreciate a game that will just tell me, hey, go point A to B. That's just all that's the only way we're going. Not, like, you can explore a little bit. You know, the areas are open, and you should explore because they're, you know, items and these little crystals that you need to find that'll help you upgrade both characters. But this is a very much a go from point A to B kind of game. Now, the world is not the most exciting to look around in. Environments aren't super varied, but you get to fight a lot, and that's what I'm here for. I just want to fight. And this game also takes a lot from the Bayonetta playbook. They have these little challenge areas where they put you just on like a little platform, and then you have like a challenge that you have to do. Maybe have a time limit attached to it, and you just got to be skilled enough to pull it off. And the boss fights in this game, yeah, they've been something. It's a good challenge in a good way. The boss fights are about that action, so be ready. But like I said, man, this Soulstice it's scratching an itch for me that I haven't had in a while. I miss that, you know, that Bayonetta, Devil May Cry kind of era. I miss that old hack and slash, and this is exactly what that feels like. And like I said, it may wear its influences clearly on its sleeves, and it may take also some of the negatives of those games, unfortunately, but it still holds its own, and I'm having a blast playing this. One of the better indies I feel like I've come across in a while, and like I said, it's put me back in that old PS2, PS3 era, and I love that. I really love that. So if you've never checked out Soulstice, you should give this one a look, man. If you like that old school hack and slash gameplay, this might be up the alley for you. So these are the games that have had me in a headlock for the last month or two. Let me know what you guys have been playing down in the comments, because I would love to hear it. But that is all I have for today's video. My name is Serial Sensei. Y'all stay safe, y'all stay hydrated, and I will catch you on the next video. That's trash. That boy nice.